All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the graduating class of January 2025. So I wondered tonight with the weather we've been dealing with if we would have a regular crowd or not. It looks like we are a little light, but you know what? We're going to kick this off and we're going to graduate these Warriors nonetheless. So thank you for joining us today on this important event in these Warriors' lives. And to those watching online, we thank you as well for carving out the time to sit and watch these Warriors graduate. It really means a lot to us to have your support. My name is Kevin Steele. I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Chief Program Officer here at K9s For Warriors. Before we get started, we always like to honor our nation in two different ways. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem. So at this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Warrior Trainer James Watkins, and remain standing for the playing of our National Anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Today we want to thank the Land Transportation Division of Crowley for selecting K9s For Warriors this year and for helping to support the training of our January Warrior class. A special thanks to Stephanie Porter, a weekend foster for K9s and a Crowley employee for making this connection possible. Crowley employs many military veterans and is proud to support an organization that changes lives. We're thrilled to have several members of the Crowley team here with us today to celebrate this occasion. You in the audience, Crowley team, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you so much for believing in our mission. We'd also like to recognize the staff at Endeavors who are in the audience with us today. Endeavors provides many services and support to veterans in the areas of veteran support and wellness, emergency services, community-based services, and migrant services. We have built a tremendous relationship with the Endeavors team, and we look forward to working together to serve our warriors in new and exciting ways. In the audience with us tonight from Endeavors is Mark Riddick, the Senior Director of Integrated Health Services, and Sierra Hunter, Operations Manager of Community Wellness Services. Thank you so much for making the trip out here to join us tonight from San Antonio. Could you wave for us? Thank you. All right, so here in a second, we're going to introduce the Warrior class, but I'd like to remind everyone when we do indoor graduations, just because of the noise in the room, we want to make sure to keep the noise at a minimum for the sake of these Warriors and the dogs. So instead of a full-on clap, we will all join in a golf clap. So if you would keep that in mind as we introduce the Warriors and go through the rest of the ceremony, it would certainly be helpful to the Warriors and their dogs. At this time, please join me in welcoming the graduating class of January 2025. For 6 months leading up to each class, our warriors participate in a mentorship program where they learn all about adjusting to life with a service dog. The unique thing about our mentorship program is that it's not conducted by our staff. Instead, our warrior graduates from past classes volunteer to serve as mentors, and they'll discuss topics such as physically and mentally preparing for training, what specifically makes a service dog different from a family pet, and some common challenges a warrior may encounter while out and about with their service dog, just to name a few. And they'll also share with our warriors how their life has changed since having their service dog. The mentor for the January 2025 class is Carlos Cruz with service dog Hannah. Carlos, could you join me up here, please, sir? Carlos is a 2018 graduate of our program and an Army veteran who was a military police and military working dog handler with deployments to Panama and Afghanistan. And as the mentor for this class, we'd certainly like to acknowledge all the time and effort you've put into this with a certificate that says K9s For Warriors presents this certificate of appreciation to Carlos Cruz for being the warrior mentor to the January 2025 class. And as we always do, we cannot forget about service dog Hannah and the contribution she made as a mentor in the class. So K9s For Warriors presents this certificate of appreciation to Hannah for her supporting role in mentoring the January 2025 warrior class. Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Of course. It is now my honor to introduce each of our Warriors service dog teams and to share with you a little about each. First up, we have William and Odyssey. Odyssey was sponsored by Odyssey Group Foundation. The name Odyssey was chosen to honor the name of the sponsor Odyssey Group, which each year sets aside 2% of its pre-tax earnings for charitable purposes. Since the foundation's inception, over $70 million has been pledged to more than 450 charities around the world. And the sponsors are in attendance with us. Where are you at, sponsors? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Odyssey was rescued from Union County Animal Control and trained by T.J. Wright. Next, we have Chad and Phoenix. Phoenix was sponsored by Lieutenant Dennis W. Zelinsky II Memorial Fund and co-sponsored by TP ICAP Capital Market Group, a financial investment firm. TP ICAP's purpose is to provide clients with access to global financial and commodity markets, improving price discovery, liquidity, and distribution of data through responsible and innovative solutions. In mythology, the phoenix is a legendary bird that rises from its ashes, symbolizing rebirth, renewal, and resilience. It serves as a powerful reminder that no matter the hardships faced, there is always potential for growth, healing, and a brighter future. As a service dog, Phoenix embodies this spirit of renewal, offering Chad unwavering support, loyalty, and a sense of purpose. Together, their bond symbolizes perseverance and hope for a life rebuilt with strength, companionship, and the courage to face each new day. And the sponsors of Phoenix are live online with us via YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. And Phoenix was provided by Love in the Lead and trained by Mindy Brown. Next, we have Joshua and Ram. Ram was sponsored by Phase 3 Brands, and Phase 3 Brands is a franchise brand that is comprised of Hardee's and Wingstop locations. Every summer, their stores host a charity fundraising campaign, and the top earning locations from this drive get to select the sponsored dog name. The name Ram was chosen from this location. Ram was provided by MSAR Canada, trained by TJ Wright and Hannah Watson. Next, we have Matthew and Jackson. Jackson was sponsored by Carnival Cruise Lines. Carnival Cruise Lines decided to name Jackson after the city of Jacksonville in honor of their 20th anniversary of having a ship out of the Jax port. Carnival Cruise Lines believes in K9s For Warriors' mission of saving lives at both ends of the leash and is proud to support Jackson's journey to change the life of his veteran. And they are joining us as well online tonight. Thank you for being with us this evening. Jackson was provided by Van Hendricks K9. Van Hendricks, I just want to pause right there and acknowledge our relationship with them. Where are you at, Van Hendricks? I believe there you are. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've established a great partnership with them, and so I want to highlight that, but I also just want to say a special thank you. We had a tricky, a somewhat tough situation the past few weeks, and without question, they jumped in to help us. They were certainly a huge help in this situation, and I just really wanted to say thank you for all you do for us, and we really appreciate and value what you bring to the organization. And yeah. And Jackson was trained by Mark Page. Next we have Jason and Sammy. Sammy was sponsored by the Lieutenant Dennis W. Zielinski II Memorial Fund and co-sponsored by John P. Keevy of Third Christian Brothers Academy. Christian Brothers Academy is an independent LaSallian college preparatory school providing a contemporary and balanced Catholic education for young men. Sammy, meaning God has heard, becomes a beautiful symbol of hope and answered prayers. For Jason, Sammy represents the acknowledgement of his service and sacrifices, a living testament that his needs and challenges have been seen and answered. Sammy could embody the role of a steadfast companion, offering strength, loyalty, and unconditional love, mirroring the light and warmth implied by like the sun. And the sponsors are joining live online tonight. Thank you for being here with us. And Sammy was also provided by Van Hendricks K9 and trained by Chris Shepard. Next, we have Patrick and Moto. Moto was sponsored by ARB Gaming. The name Moto was inspired by the idea of having more of the things that matter most: more compassion, more support, and more connection. Moto's sponsors wanted a name that would represent abundance and the ability to bring extra joy and purpose into someone's life. It's inspiring to see Moto embody that meaning as he begins his journey with Patrick. And these sponsors are online with us as well. Thank you for being here with us. Moto was provided by Love in the Lead and trained by Skylar Reed. Love in the Lead is with us. ARB Gaming. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us tonight, sir. At this time, we'd like to share some thank you notes from our Warriors to those who have been instrumental in helping them get to this day.
Thank you to all the sports staff. Without you, all this impeccable training would not be possible. A truly great experience that will last a lifetime. God bless America.
I would like to send my deepest thanks and gratitude to my wife and kids for making this journey a reality. I would also like to thank all of the staff here at K9s for everything you do.
Thank you, K9s For Warriors, my wife Megan, the trainers, and Carnival Cruise Lines for Jackson. Your support has truly changed my life.
I wanted to say thank you to all of the clandestine intelligence operators and special operators whose duty of mental sacrifice is a daily prison for them forever lacking recognition.
I would like to thank my wife and daughters for their support during this adventure. Thank you to my family and friends that helped get me here. Thank you to the K9 staff for all the love and training. Also, thank you for the generous sponsors for Phoenix. He's truly life-changing.
I would like to thank my wife, Christina, for being my rock and standing by me through everything. To my kids, Violet and Oliver, you inspire me to keep going every day. I love you more than you know. Thank you to K9s For Warriors, incredible staff, and my fellow veterans for creating a family I didn't know I needed. A special thank you to the sponsors of Sammy for making this life-changing partnership possible. And of course, to Sammy, my new battle buddy, for already helping me rediscover the strength within myself.
ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our Warriors of the January 2025 class. So as I started preparing for graduation this evening, I was taking down some notes of a couple things I thought I'd say, and then a funny thing happened. And you know, I don't know about you, but I believe things tend to happen for a reason and at the right time. And so I thought I'd share with you exactly what happened. So I had as I was jotting these notes, I don't know what made me think about it, but I had an email in my inbox that was sent to us from one of our previous Warriors. And it was somewhat long, and a lot of stuff was going on at the moment, so I had kind of glanced over it and moved on with other emails, but I didn't give it the time it deserved. Well, for whatever reason, at that moment, I thought about that email, and I just decided to open it up, see what it was all about. And as I said, it was an email from a Warrior, and the interesting thing is the Warriors from January 2024's class. So it was a testimony from a Warrior 1 year after the date that they sat right in these seats. And as I read through it, I thought, wow, what a powerful testimony. And who could say it better than the Warrior who's gone through this experience themselves? So I threw my notes away, and I decided instead of doing that, I'm going to just read their testimony to you this evening. And of course, we did get their permission to do this. So I'd like to share it with you, and I hope you'll get from it as much as I did. He says, "Dear K9s, I'm writing to give you an update on John E. With tears, it's hard to put into words just how much he has changed my life. When I first brought him home from Ponte Vedra, the transition wasn't easy. Learning a new rhythm, getting my other dog Finn to stop giving him a hard time, and building the confidence to face challenges in public were all things I had to tackle. I'll admit it was stressful at first, but over time we found our groove and things are better than I could have ever hoped. Now we have a rhythm. John E. goes everywhere with me, every store, every outing, and we become an inseparable team. We often get kind comments about how well behaved he is, and those moments give me a chance to let people know this is how a service dog is supposed to act. He's not one of the fakes. It's also great to see parents teaching their kids when they get excited and say, puppy. More and more, I'll hear parents calmly explain, that's a service dog. He's working. Don't disturb them. Those moments remind me of how far awareness has come, at least where I live. There was one particularly difficult interaction, and Chase, who's our Warrior Outreach Manager, called the restaurant manager on his behalf. Another part of my life that I wasn't sure how it would work when John E. came along is my involvement in community theater. I'm part of a theater company, sometimes behind the scenes and other times on stage. When I am on stage, John E., or Johnny, as he's quickly become known, stays quietly in a pop-up kennel. You'd never even know he's there. Behind the scenes, he either hangs with me or rests in his kennel, depending on the situation. I wasn't sure how this dynamic would play out at first, but it's worked out better than I ever could have imagined. I've got a rehearsal today, and I'm actually looking forward to it because John E. will be by my side. The company has been great about supporting us, even educating others about service dogs. I often hear members explaining to those new to the concept, he's adorable, but you can't pet him. Control yourself. Of course, I still can't figure out if they're talking about John E. or myself, but probably John E. To all the trainers, both the ones working with the dogs and those guiding the humans, your work doesn't go unnoticed. I know the effort you put in is intense, but it makes a difference. What you do has made life more accessible to me, and for that, I can't thank you enough. Because of you, I'm handling challenges I used to avoid, and I'm living a life that feels more open and independence. Thank you again, from Stephen. When I read that, I thought, as I shared with you earlier, I thought there's so many lessons in that. I couldn't just not share it with this audience and you as a graduating class. I know there's many takeaways from this letter, at least for me there were, but if there was nothing else you took from it, I want you to take just a couple things. The first one is what he said at the beginning. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge. Your dog is going to go into a whole new environment with a new family, new friends, new surroundings, new employment, whatever the case may be for you. But your dog can do this, and you can do this. And I'm sure if you look back over this past 3 weeks, we probably put you in environments that you would have never gone to on your own, and probably don't care to do when you're at home. But I want you to know that you can do this. It doesn't require 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day of training like you've done these past 3 weeks. It just takes a few minutes a day. But I would encourage you to take that time, push yourself and challenge yourself, because I promise you, just like he said, if you do that, your life will become much more free and independent. I can promise you that. If you choose not to, that's certainly your choice. But I think you came here looking for a brighter future. And I can promise you that if you'll do just that, if you'll push yourself to those limits and sometimes beyond as you're able to, you're going to reap the rewards of your and the fruits of your labor. So I just wanted to lay it out there for you. Just like the first day here, you're going to see a lot of the same things when you go home because everything's so new. Just show some grace to your dog. Let him get settled in. Let her get settled in. But then once you've given it a couple days, get out and about. Go somewhere once a day, every day, and do some training with your dog, because it will pay off for you in the future. The last thing I want to mention from this letter was what he mentioned. Let me get back to it. When he said, "What you do has made life more accessible for me, and for that I can't thank you enough." As you've realized throughout this training over the past 3 weeks, there's probably been some great days and some bad days, and I think I mentioned that to you on pairing day, that you're going to experience that. You're going to get the same thing when you get home. But I want you to think back to when you applied. What did you apply for a service dog for? What was your purpose in coming here? And then I'd ask you, what are you going to do about it? Because if you'll put in that hard work, now that you've been in those environments, you've seen what your dog can and can't do, you've seen your dog's quirks, your dog knows your quirks now, you know you can work through it. And if you'll just push yourself and push your dogs, like I said before, your life also will become much more accessible and free and independent for you. And I hope that for each of you. And I want you to know that when you have those bad days, or you're struggling, or you just don't understand something that's happening, call us. You've got our duty phone. We are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I want you to remember that and use it, because we will be there for you until you tell us you no longer want us in your lives. And then we'll see where we go from there, but I hope that never happens. But good luck, Godspeed. I wish you all the best of luck, and just know that you're part of the K9s family forevermore. All right? And with that, that concludes the ceremony for this evening. I would like to remind you that if you'll kind of imagine a line between me and the first row of chairs, think about that line with me real quick. That line is for the Warriors. We want to protect their safety and their well-being, and we want to respect their space, of course. So if you would please not cross our imaginary line on the floor. If the Warriors feel comfortable and want to come up for some photos to say hi, let you make a friend with their dog, they can certainly do that. And we'll ask them to approach that line to meet you right there. But aside from that, I thank you all again for coming out for this graduation. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. And God bless you, and God bless America. Good evening.